Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
These words from Philip Brooks, and boy, are they true. Be such a person and live such a life that if every person were such as you, and every life a life like yours, this earth would be God's paradise. How true. Morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a Patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Come on, call in. Good morning. Good morning to everybody. You know, I'm going to, right off the top, I'm going to say that I'm declaring this day, January 18th, as Murphy's Law Day. I've got to. Did you ever have one of those mornings? Every single thing from the time you get out of bed in the morning until right in the last 30 seconds has gone wrong. Anyway, good morning. Zeb at the Ranch, I'm Zeb Bell. Murphy's Law Day. I've made a new proclamation, and we're brought to you by your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, and they've got all your traction tires for wintertime driving. And also, don't forget Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation with Nick and the whole great crew over there, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now on my proclamation of Murphy's Law Day, I'm going to go to the phone line and say good morning with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Well, good morning, sir. I think that sounds like a good idea.
Oh, my. I don't even want to get into it. Go ahead with the pledge.
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Now that went well. Thank you. That's the first thing this morning. God bless you, man. Thanks a lot. All right, ladies and gentlemen, right now, let's have Merv May step in here. Let's sell some cattle. Good morning. No. Oh, I proved my point. Thank you, Wheels. I forgot my weather forecast. I'll get right back to it. I told you, Murphy's Law, everything's going wrong. Right now, let's go ahead and have the sale cattle. We'll get to the weather in a moment. I promise. I'm laughing because what else can you do? I might start crying. Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Number to call, 678-9411. And Wheels, that wasn't your fault, mine. And don't forget Merv May, Cade, Rocky, Lance, Udy, the sale that works for you. And today they're expecting a good run of cattle, a lot of yearlings. Glenn Shank over to Rupert bringing in 18 head of yearlings. Jay Hutchison over to Rupert, 25 head of yearlings. Hello, Jay. And Mackenzie Stevens at Gooding, 60 head of yearlings. Skip Owens at Glens Ferry, 170 head of ripping good 700-pound black steers. Oh, dandies. And they're going to have a good bunch of cattle coming out of that Bear Lake country, 60 head of yearlings, along with butcher cows from Oak Valley Dairy, TLK Dairy, and P-Bar S Dairy. 10 a.m. starting time at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, 678-9411. The sale that works for you. Merv, sell those steers.
All right.
It gets the steer calves there here to get $1.31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, and 5.5, 5.5, 130, 550, 135, and $7.35. Zeb Bell gets bottom again.
Oh, man, I tell you, I've hit bottom this morning. Now we're going to do the weather forecast brought to you by K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn, right there on the Burley Paul Highway with Roger and the crew. And I'm going to tell you something. Roger's going to be on our program later on this morning. And they offer the best of rental and, of course, rental tools, equipment, everything you need to finish a project or a construction project you're working on. And, you know, a lot of people sit there and they go, well, I'm not exactly sure what I need. All you got to do is just pick up the phone and call them at 678-3122 or stop in and just explain it to them. They can help you. They've got it all. K&R Rental, and that's right on the Burley Paul Highway. Here's Gina with the weather.
Looks like we could be heading into precipitation for tonight and tomorrow. Here is your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. Enjoy today because we're looking at mostly sunny skies. High near 51. Winds out of the east, right around 10 miles an hour. Tonight, more clouds rolling in, bringing along with it some showers, rain showers for tonight, a little bit on the breezy side. Those rain showers mostly after midnight with a low of 34. Tomorrow, we have a 60% chance of rain and or snow showers. Snow showers mostly up in the higher elevations with a high of 40 degrees. For tomorrow night, we do have a 20% chance of rain and or snow showers with a low of 25. For Saturday, mostly sunny skies and 36. And then for Sunday, mostly sunny and 37. And that is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Gina, thank you. And that was great. We finally got something to go right this morning. I knew Gina and Wheels could do it. Hey, here we go, K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn. They do have all the tools and equipment for you, all the top name brands. And let me tell you something, all you got to do is give them a call or stop in. They can help you figure out exactly what you need at K&R Rental, 678-3122. K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn. Wow. I mean, you ever have one of those days where no matter what you touch, what you say, or what you do, it's a calamity? It started at 4 o'clock this morning. Oh, my goodness sakes. I want to also remind you, we've got a full plate today. We've got Cassia County School Days, Chamber Reports. We've got a great segment at 10:30 that I'll tell you more about that later on this morning. I'm going to talk a little bit about Trump's fake news awards in just a moment. Stand by. Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Hello, Ramsey's. Really nice people. 678-0459, the number to call. Now, they're open 7:30 to 5, Monday through Friday, and they've got all, this is not brag, it's a fact, they've got all your heating, cooling, and electrical needs and the great knowledge and experience to get the job done for you. Absolutely. Open 7:30 to 5, Monday through Friday, where they always provide warm winters and cool summers at Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. And real quick, if you're hungry like I am, I love breakfast. Every time I go out to eat, honestly, if it's time 4 in the afternoon, 7 o'clock at night, whatever, I order breakfast if they have it available. I mean, and Denny's always has it available. I mean, 24/7, 365. Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner. And the menu choices and the delicious food and the great service, it's all there for you at 611 North Overland in Burley and 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. Denny's Restaurant, the home of Zeb's Lunch Bunch, and we're going to be over there next Thursday for Zeb's Lunch Bunch at America's Diner, Denny's Restaurant. Yesterday, and there was a lot of criticism about this, and you know what? I think the Democrats and even Republican John McCain and that greasy Jeff Flake, I'm going to talk about Jeff Flake a little bit later. But, they're mocking the president, denigrating the president, and he's just having a little fun with this thing. You got to look at these fake news awards with a tongue-in-cheek atmosphere. And quite frankly, the choices, I think he picked out actually 11 categories. But I have the top 3 that were fake news, and quite frankly, I'm very familiar with each one of these fake news stories. The number 3 fake news story, and the worst in fake news, goes to CNN. How could you not pick CNN? Very biased and made up stories. Fabrication. Number 2 goes to ABC Network and Brian Roth. You talk about lying. You talk about fabrication and misleading the public. He finally got suspended and is still, I believe, off of his duties at ABC. And number 1, and this one I chuckle at because I can remember the morning that this came out. And it was a New York Times story by Paul Krugman. Paul Krugman is so liberal and so far left. I mean, this guy's going to fall out of the tree. Paul Krugman hates the Trump administration, has nothing good to say about conservatism, and he made the comments, and I'm paraphrasing right now, that when Donald Trump took over, that with Trump in office, our economy and the stock market would never recover. I'm going to leave a little pregnant pause there because as of yesterday and probably again today, the Dow is over 26,000. Never been there before. Strange territory, great territory. Our economy is booming. Booming is a good word. And where's Paul Krugman? Haven't heard too much from him. That was the number 1 fake news story put out by the Trump administration. And why shouldn't he? There are those Juan Williams and the other. Juan Williams is one of the most amateur and racially biased individuals. He's got to tie race into almost everything. And complete disdain for the Trump administration and for the tax reform and minimizing the value of what's been given out to employees as far as bonuses and basically rebates to help them and their families. And just minimizing everything. And I think he should have named Juan Williams as one of the most fake news reporters, but he did not. Calls are welcome right now and appreciated at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Tell me your thoughts this morning. I really enjoy my audience. They always come up with some great points. Want to remind you while I have the time and I'm waiting, here we go again. Yes, sirree, Bobby. Dino's Septic Service in Rupert. So many people that have problems maybe with their water and sewer lines and their septic tanks need to be pumped and they've got problems. They perhaps need the liquid waste removal. And these people can do it. They do a job that you and I do not want to do. And they are good at their job with fast, fair, friendly service. And I got that great big truck that says, Smells Cargo on the way. You call them today. Good folks. In Rupert, 436-6526. And in Burley, 678-1638. Dino Septic Service in Rupert. They are good. Also want to remind you, too, and this really goes out to the seniors, and my heart goes out to anyone living alone. And they're senior citizens, and very respectfully I say this, perhaps they've lost their spouse, and the loneliness and the isolation and the safety hazards of being alone and poor nutrition along with maybe not even taking your pills. And you'd go kind of, oh, well, I'll take them in the morning. Oh, well, I'll take them at night. No, Pomerelle Place is a great place for senior living that offers the abilities for seniors to maintain their independence both safely and comfortably. I urge you to call 677-8212. And they're located at Pomerell Place at 1301 Bennett Street in Burley, 677-8212. All right, come on, rise and shine, get out of bed, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I have right here in my hot little hand someplace, I've got about 17 or 18 sheets of paper here, but I wanted to share some things with you. First of all, with Maxine Waters, this is really important. Maxine Waters, a very despicable Democrat. And I mean despicable because of her attitude, her verbiage, and just the way she acts. She is supposed to be representing the people, not just her own biased opinions. But she's not doing that. No. Maxine Waters has been hateful, spiteful, and just really negative against anything that conservatives do, but absolutely repulsive against Donald Trump. And impeach 45. I hate the man. I wouldn't sit and listen to him. Absolutely. And then her and Frederica Wilson, the lady that has denigrated cowboy hats because she wears one. She looks like, well, never mind. We won't get into that. And then also John Lewis. John Lewis looks like a junkyard dog that's just looking for somebody to bite. The three of them have said they're not going to show up for the State of the Union message. Well, an Army vet absolutely heard this, and he was making any and all overtures that he could to get the ticket for the seat of the guest that Maxine Waters would have had, and he did. He finally got a seat from Congressman, Duffy, Congressman Duffy. And he is going to be there basically taking a seat from Maxine Waters, and he is ecstatic. He said on Twitter the other day, I would like to take Maxine Waters' seats at the State of the Union address. If they don't want to go, this military veteran would gladly go. I'll tell the president how much he means to myself, my family, the military, and all of his supporters. And then he went on to say that Maxine Waters does not represent all black people and called himself a proud deplorable. God bless him. He is a black Army veteran, served 10 years over in Afghanistan in that region, and he's going to be there. And I'm going to bet you maybe 7-4 or 7-3 odds that he's going to be probably acknowledged by President Trump. I hope so. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Got a little ache and a pain, Bunky? Maybe you just had surgery. And maybe you took a really hard fall on the ice a couple of weeks ago, and you're trying to recoup. Listen, call Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, and they will, and you'll be absolutely happy with the results. I mean, they've got all the greatest physical therapists right there, Nick Greenwell and the whole crew, and the only hydrotherapy pool of its kind in the area. I have walked a zillion miles in that hydrotherapy pool, and I credit these people with my getting back into shape. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. The number to call, 678-1191. Give them a call today. All right, give me a call. My goodness, it's getting lonesome in here. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Did you hear that Jeff Flake was delivering a floor speech on the Senate floor, and he was just absolutely really good, like he always is, of condemning President Trump? And where I draw the line on what he did is when he started comparing in his own twisted little mind that Donald Trump and Joseph Stalin were quite similar. Oh, that's kind of touching on some real shaky ground there, Jeff. I know this family. I know members of the Flake family down in Arizona, and I honestly do not believe that they are as ridiculously stupid as Senator Jeff Flake. And I know that Marcia McSally, that's running to win that Senate seat, was on television last night. And this woman does not mince any words. You got to respect her, boy. I mean, she is pretty powerful, and she tells it like it is. No running around the bush, I'll tell you that. I hope she wins. I really hope she wins. But I want to get back to the speech that Jeff Flake was giving on the Senate floor, and I'm reading from some copy that some good friends of mine with the Daily Caller sent me this morning. And the headline was, Dick Durbin, Democrat, only senator to stay for Jeff Flake's anti-Trump floor speech. I gotta laugh at this. How would you like to have a prepared speech, and you get up in front of the podium, and you got one person out there, and it happens to be a Democrat. And it said, Republican Arizona Senator Jeff Flake delivered a Senate floor speech knocking President Trump's criticisms of the media, and only one senator, Democrat Dick Durbin from Illinois, remained in the chamber for the speech that Flake gave. One person. Oh, he really draws a crowd, doesn't he? Anyhow, I thought that was kind of humorous. Jeff Flake, I think I would say to him, and I think a lot of people agree, do not let the door hit you in the posterior on the way out. Calls are welcome and appreciated. Come on, give me a jingle. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a jingle. While I'm waiting for your call, does it sound like I'm begging? I guess I am. I'd like to talk to some people this morning. Come on, give me a call. I'll tell you a little bit about our friends at the Urgent Care. Now, they do a wonderful, wonderful job. We took a little extra time yesterday and had Alex Judd on the phone, or was that the day before? I can't remember. Anyway, we really appreciate what they do. They offer plans with no premiums that can help you manage your high deductibles, and they're trying to help you with the health care costs. They do a wonderful job. And at the Urgent Cares, they offer the Get Treated, Not Seated. No appointment needed. Absolutely open 7 days a week with extended hours, qualified providers, always on staff. They are there to serve you, your family, and your business. That's right, whether it's a cut, a sprain, a strain, fracture, whatever, or DOT physicals, drug screening. Yes, Riverview Urgent Care in Burley at 382 North Overland in Burley, Urgent Care of Jerome at 133 West Avenue Way in Jerome, and the Urgent Care of Twin Falls, 2392 Addison Avenue East, serving you. Good morning, caller. How are you?
I'm fine. You?
It's Murphy's Law Day. I've made a proclamation.
Anything that can go wrong will go.
You know, isn't that crazy? You start a trend. Get out of bed in the morning, and absolutely everything I touched, I messed up. Everything I tried, like my shirt. I put on a shirt, what do? I rip the collar. I try another shirt, and I pop a button. And I'm on my third shirt, and the day for me is less than 4.5 hours old.
I won't even go there, Zep.
Wait a minute. It was on my neck.
Yeah. Wouldn't that tell you something when you step up to put down President Trump, to give a speech to put him down? Only one Democrat?
You know, I can't even imagine the embarrassment. I honestly cannot imagine the embarrassment now that's being passed over to him when people hear that one senator sat there for the duration of this speech. Why didn't he just say, hey, Dick, let's you and I go get a cup of coffee or something?
Well, the other Democrats weren't even interested in it.
I know it.
That's the kicker right there. I mean, this should tell Senator Flake what people think about his attitude.
You know, I tell you what, when I see him, and like I said, I know the other members of his family, and they're not like him. He acts like a kind of a punkish kid that is a tattletale. I know something and I'm going to tell on somebody. You know, that's the attitude that he pervades, and I just don't like the man.
Yeah, he must have got a trophy for everything he participated in when he was growing up.
Yeah, and he finished last, but they gave him a ribbon.
Yeah. That's what happens.
Well, it's just despicable to me. Now, let me throw this at you real quick, and I open it up for others to call in. If you, Doug, are elected to represent your district or a certain state or whatever as a congressman, a senator, and all of a sudden you have a real beef with the current administration, and you say, well, I'm not going to go to that State of the Union message. I don't like that guy. I don't like his policies. I'm not going to do anything to help support him. I'm just not going to show up. Isn't that a show of complete disrespect for your constituents in your area that expect you to be there, whether you like the man or not, to be there and be a part of the American governmental process?
Exactly, and that shows your disrespect for the office.
Yep.
It really does. And they should be docked pay. I mean,
you know, that's not a bad thought.
Where were they the last 8 years when Obama was putting down Fox News, running them in the ground, calling all the other news agencies into the White House and saying, okay, this is what we're going to do, and then they'd run out and put it on the news.
Well, wait a minute. You bring up an excellent point that needs to be elaborated on. Everybody come out, including John McCain and Jeff Flake, for Trump having the fake news, the top 11. Well, what happened with Obama? Let's talk a little bit about this. The Obama administration came out on numerous occasions, condemned and damned Fox News, and said they weren't even a news agency. And Obama has said the people that watch it are on another planet, but they also did something very personal during the Obama years. Remember when they went after the reporter James Rosen and turned his life upside down with false and phony charges?
Exactly, and they got into what's that one gal's name? They hacked into her computer.
Yep.
You know, these guys that scream it at Trump need to look in the mirror because they're the ones that were doing it.
Oh, you know, that's the one thing they can't do, though. Their eyesight never leaves the highway. They can't look in the rear view mirror because then they'd see how many people they ran over.
Exactly. That's exactly right. I mean, had they been standing up against Obama when he was doing stuff, they would have a lot more credibility. But where they just sat back, had a do-nothing job for 8 years, they didn't have to do anything. Oh, yeah, they passed 100 and some times to repeal Obamacare, but they knew it was DOA.
Yeah.
They'd pass anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the hypocrisy and the animosity. I'm 70 years old, and I think I know a little bit about what's been going on in the past in politics, because politics has always been one of my favorite subjects to really watch and read about and study. You can't tell me any other time in our lifetime that you have seen or heard more animus going on between the two parties. This is beyond the pale, and it's got to stop. They're not getting anything done. They're spending more time talking about President Trump's health, his ice cream eating, and or his sex life than they are worried about North Korea and ISIS.
And his drug addictions.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That was the biggest joke. You know, Michelle Malcolm, she summed it up last night. She called the White House press corps thumbsuckers.
Yeah, and there's another area of that I could go into, but I'm not going to this morning. Anyway, God bless you for your call this morning. You broke the ice. We appreciate it, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and maybe you might get wet.
I do, and if I can have just a minute for the senior centers.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's take care of them. Let's take care of the seniors, because you think about it, they're the one that sweat and their hard work built this country. country to what it is today.
Yeah.
And we're enjoying the fruits of their labor. So let's take care of them and show them that we really appreciate it.
Amen, Doug. Thank you.
Join the senior centers. If you're not going to do any, just go join.
Yep.
Membership helps. And rent their facilities. Donate what you can when you can.
All right, Doug. I always thank you for that little blurb because it's true. Thank you so much.
God bless.
All right, sir. Calls are welcome. He opened up the floodgates. Excuse me for the... Pardon me. Well, something jumped in my throat. Floodgates of the calls, so come on, give us a jingle. Don't forget our friends at Berry Equipment and Rental. Hello, Juan. How are you over there at the Burley location at 159 West Highway 30 in Burley? They've got all the Bobcats. My goodness, there's a Bobcat there. There's a Bobcat over there. Bobcat here, Bobcat everywhere. They've got special negative interest on all Bobcats. Excuse me. That means that the interest on a machine is subtracted from the price. Wow. Can you save money? And they've got all the shapes and sizes, and they've got equipment rentals, retail equipment sales, and you say to yourself, I don't know how to run a Bobcat. I need one, but I don't. They can take care of it. They can take care of it. They got a big sandbox out behind the business, and they'll show you how to run it. Berry Equipment and Rental, sales, service, and parts, 159 West Highway 30 in Burley with my buddy Juan, Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, Eli, and also the Nampa location. And they can help you, they will. Berry Equipment and Rental. All right, let's crank it up. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I watched on the news this morning a heartbreaking interview. Absolutely heartbreaking. The aunt of one of the policemen that was killed, and I'm going to use this term. I thought about this. I heard a commentator use this term earlier this morning. And I thought, in this case, it's appropriate and acceptable. One of the policemen that was killed by the absolute garbage. Now, that word sounds harsh to some people. But in this case, I'm going to use it not once, but many times. The absolute garbage of that illegal alien that sat there in the courtroom and told the judge that the only sorrowful moment he's had is that he didn't kill more police. And he said if he ever escapes or gets out of prison, he will go kill more. I watched the aunt talk about that policeman. And she fought to hold back the tears. And the look on her face, and the look in her eyes, and the muscles in her neck, and you could just see the rage that this woman had, and the complete disdain for this garbage that took away her nephew. For no reason. Nonsense. This lady is sickened by what the United States is doing, by what sanctuary cities are doing, by what mayors are doing, and the so-called leadership of the Democratic Party. She's sickened by it. And giving sanctuary to vermin like this guy, and basically creating a safe haven, is absolutely, it's a crime worse almost than what this man did. I hope and pray that if I ever get somebody to come on this program and advocate sanctuary cities, etc., that they're ready for a real tussle. Because I will not be fair and balanced. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And if that story doesn't make you mad, there's another story about an illegal alien that committed a crime. A California illegal alien got up out of his chair at a restaurant and went over and stabbed another man eating in the restaurant in the neck. He was captured later on after they reviewed the surveillance cameras and they finally found the guy. And he brutally stabbed this man in the neck. Now, the man was taken into surgery, and a 61-year-old male, and his condition just last night was upgraded to stable, I believe. Now, there has not been a reason. There has not been anything else said as to the why. But here again, an illegal alien that had been deported 7 times previously. And he had a rap sheet as long as your arm. I mean, wait a minute. 7 times? And they kick him out of here like he's on a bungee cord and he comes right back? And a rap sheet for all kinds of various and sundry criminal convictions? Oh, yeah. Yeah. This immigration is really doing a great job. Oh, yeah, the open borders really doing a great job. The Democrats that are only doing this to preen for votes, that's all they're doing it for. And California, now a sanctuary state, oh, we got good things on the horizon, don't we? Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Please give me a call. What are your thoughts on sanctuary cities, sanctuary states? And here's something that goes in accordance with also what's going on in California. The folks in California are the people that live in the rural areas. And I got to say this up front. I've been to California just hundreds of times and used to do a lot of rodeos down there. And I know the people in the rural areas. I know the people and their politics. I know their animus against L.A., Sacramento, and San Francisco. And I do not blame them at all for wanting to just absolutely get away from that mess and maybe start a completely different state. I understand their pain because the likes of Nancy Appaloosa and the rest of them, it's got to be horrendous living in that state. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. We got to get a weather forecast on here while I'm waiting for your call that I know is coming in. I can see you dialing right now. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids with Dr. Christine Pickup, the doctor of audiology, right behind the Minidoka Hospital across from the emergency room. Here is the number to call for a hearing screening. 312-0957. 312-0957. And also, they have advanced diagnostic capabilities to really have new testing ability to help diagnose one of the common causes of vertigo. So all of this and so much more. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't you dare hang up. And you be sure to make an appointment with them today. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, 312-0957. Quickly, caller, I'll do the weather. I'll be right with you. Here's Gina.
Looks like we could be heading into precipitation for tonight and tomorrow. Here is your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. Enjoy today because we're looking at mostly sunny skies. High near 51. Winds out of the east, right around 10 miles an hour. Tonight, more clouds rolling in, bringing along with it some showers, rain showers for tonight. A little bit on the breezy side. Those rain showers mostly after midnight with a low of 34. Tomorrow, we have a 60% chance of rain and or snow showers. Snow showers mostly up in the higher elevations with a high of 40 degrees. For tomorrow night, we do have a 20% chance of rain and or snow showers with a low of 25. For Saturday, mostly sunny skies and 36. And then for Sunday, mostly sunny and 37. And that is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. Always a very, very good weather forecast. Brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Get a hold of them today for a hearing screening, 312-0957. Caller, appreciate your call. Good morning.
Morning, Zeb. Hey, I'm from here originally, but I lived in Fresno, California for like about 8.5 years. And so, like with you and everything, I got a pretty good grasp of what the people in Central California and up, away from the Looney Tunes on the coast, their complete thoughts about those people out there on the coast. And I'm telling you what, there are many times and everything that the people I did know and everything, they were very ashamed of the people in San Francisco and the ones in Los Angeles. They didn't want a thing to do with them. And this was way back, this is the early 90s before it really started getting bad. They had, in fact, I think at the time we had a Republican governor down there. And, oh no, they still, what they thought about the left wings and everything, they just were totally against them.
Well, I can tell, I know your area that you lived in extremely well, because for 22 years I went down and announced the neighboring town of Clovis, California's Pro Rodeo for 22 years, which basically...
Oh, you did the Clovis one?
Oh, I'd been there 22 years, my friend, 22 years.
Wow.
And I've got a lot of...
There one year we went to the Clovis Rodeo and everything, and I think I remember that.
Yeah, I was there a long, long time.
Like the early 90s?
Oh, I was there from like the late 80s all the way through till about the early 2000s. So I was there a long, long time. But the point I want to make here is that I know so many people, so many ranching families, so many farming families, all the way up and down Highway 99, whether it's Tulare, Clovis, it doesn't make any difference. And they are absolutely outraged as to what's being done in the state of California, all the rules and regulations, all the stupid laws, the environmental thumb down on all of their businesses, and they've had it. And I don't blame them. The cities of San Francisco, Sacramento, and L.A. are the controlling influence. All things considered, if they could throw those people into the ocean, they'd be a lot better off.
Yeah, that's very, very true there. But I just thought I'd call and make a point, because where I lived around them and everything, too, I found out they feel about the regular idiots out on the left coast and everything. Don't they think the same to them as we do?
Yep, I agree with you. I totally agree with you, and I've got so many good friends down there. When I hear people denigrate the state of California, I get a little bit of my hair on the back of my neck standing up, because there's a lot of good folks down there, and they don't consider where they are. I mean, you go to Bakersfield, and you stand up and yell and scream in favor of Democratic and liberal policies, and you might get ridden out of town on a rail.
Well, exactly. I mean, they're pretty independent. Just basically down there, it's they feel exactly their mentality, everything the same as us. They just have a few more people.
Yep.
But a lot of them, they all think exactly the same way we do.
Absolutely. Sir, thank you so much for your call this morning.
Not a problem, man.
Thank you, sir. You bet, sir. Thank you very much. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. What do you folks think? I know maybe I'm looking through the curtain, through the window, and seeing things that aren't there this morning. But what do you think about North Korea and South Korea marching together under somewhat of a unification flag at the Winter Olympics? Do you think that's good, or do you think that's bad? Now, I know a lot of you are saying, well, Zeb, if they're going to march together, maybe that's a sign of unity and friendship and a cooling of a very hot relationship that could have caused nuclear war. Wait a minute. I think I'm maybe a little afraid. And I talked to a good friend of mine that works in Washington, D.C., at one of the think tanks back there, and he tends to agree with me that maybe forming a one Korea might be a biased situation from the North with their animus against the United States, and a coalition of maybe putting together a stronger nation of one with nuclear powers, and then aligning with China. We may have a problem in River City. it might be very, very dangerous. And all of this came around really quick. Now, on the other side of the coin, if there's going to be a lessening of hatred, a lessening of somebody creeping towards that red button to push a nuclear or any kind of a missile that might kill and maim and injure and destroy, I'm all for it. But I'm a little cautious about all of a sudden, after all these years of hate, all the years of that line in the sand that will not be crossed, and now North Korea and South Korea will march together under a unified flag at the Winter Olympics. And I go, what are your thoughts on this? Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Maybe I'm just looking a gift horse in the mouth, but maybe he doesn't have any teeth either. Give me a call. While you're calling, I want to also say that your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, our major sponsor, they make no bones about it. They really have all the tires you need, all the traction tires, absolutely, for your cars, pickups, SUVs. And they know every location of the 7 locations, they know what's best going to work for your vehicle this wintertime driving. So stop in and see them. Talk about the Terramax or the Wintercat SST or the City R202. All of these tires get you through the snow, the ice, the muck, the yuck, whatever. And along with that, they've got all the tire chains. They've got the best, and I emphasize this because I know they've done it for me, brake service, absolutely extraordinary. Really good people. Front end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, it's all there at all 7 locations with Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley. Doing the right thing matters. And they do. At your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Center. Stop in and see them today. Man alive, Murphy's Law. Yeah, there it goes. I just figured out again. Murphy's Law with hardly any calls this morning. I wonder what's going on. Maybe a lot of people slept in, or maybe they've taken a little respite before the weekend or whatever. Give us a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I would like to know what you think about the possibility of the government shutting down tomorrow because the Democrats and the Republicans have not come to terms on the budget and the money needed. And where's it going to go? And I sometimes wonder, though, after talking to a very, very well-known political analyst that we've had on our program in the past, if maybe a shutdown wouldn't be a bad thing for whether it be a day or 2 days or maybe a week to get everybody's attention. I wonder. Donald Trump is not going to waver, and I don't think he should when it comes to DACA versus the wall. I'll guarantee you that if he caves in and has a special allotment, if you will, for the dreamers, the illegal aliens here, and says, oh, well, we'll just give them complete amnesty, and then maybe in 30 days we'll talk about the wall. Ain't going to be no talk about the wall. The Democrats are going to get what they want, and then they're going to run away and hide. I don't want him caving in like many of the Republicans do. And I just think that absolutely he's got to remain firm. And maybe, even though it's going to be a lot of heat by the media, a lot of negativity by the media, a lot of negativity in Washington by senators and congressmen, maybe a government shutdown for a short period might be a good thing to get their attention. Okay? Here's what we've got cooking for the rest of this morning, and we're going to come out of the news with the Chamber Report. I understand we've got Shay Lee coming on the program this morning instead of Kyla. And now I want to make this program alert. We were, past tense, going to have the opening of our Cassia Regional Medical Hospital interviews. And there was just a little problem with the tape, and so we're going to wait and start with a lot of fanfare, etc., next Thursday. We're going to start those next Thursday. So be aware of that. And our thanks to Stephanie and all the folks over there at Cassia Regional. And then we're going to be talking to Rita at 9:30. Oh, my goodness, we got a lot of things. And Starving to Death and Cassia County School Days today. Alex Reddy's going to be on the program. We've got a lot cooking. And leave the dial right here, Zeb at the Ranch, for a Thursday. Right now, my old buddy over at the station, he's going to play us a little music. I've got to take a long-distance phone call for a few minutes. So we'll be back right after the news. Oh, woe is me. I have proclaimed this day a official proclamation of Murphy's Law Day. Everything... It's true. Everything I've touched today, bad. Anyway, good morning. Good morning. I'm kind of laughing about it now. It is kind of funny. Zeb at the Ranch, Zeb Bell, with your great big major sponsor that does so much in our communities to help you drive safely, and that's your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. Along with some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, 678-1191. I want to remind you that we were going to have our first edition of Cassia Regional Hospital on our program this morning with the interviews. A little bit of a blurb, and we're going to start those next week. We've got some outstanding interviews with outstanding people at Cassia Regional Hospital, and I want to really make sure that you be tuned in next week at 9:17. We're going to start everything with those folks. They have got some top-notch people there and top-notch departments that you need to know about. Don't forget, Cassia Regional Hospital provides you and your family excellent health care, answers, and services. They're right here close to home. That's right. Cassia Regional Hospital offers the latest technological advances in medicine, like their new oncology programs and telehealth, which uses electronic information and telecommunications to promote long-distance patient clinical health care. Your friends, your neighbors, Cassia Regional Hospital, quality care close to home. And also, I'm very, very proud of another sponsor, advertiser, that has been with us, almost from the beginning of this program. And that's Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert with Joel Heward. I'm telling you, the man of many, many smiles. Just great personality. His family, his staff, always serving you. And like I say, when there's the passing of a loved one, they are there to serve you, and they'll, with all their flexible hours, and they'll go to the rural towns and churches. They'll help you with all the arrangements, always with the highest ethical standards, with unquestioned integrity. Please get a hold of them today. 436-5636. Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert with Joel Heward. And Joel also at the Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. Right now, without further ado, let's go to the Chamber of Commerce, and I believe this young lady's name is Shaylee. Good morning, Shaylee. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
What do you do at the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce?
I am the business services coordinator, so I go out and talk to local business owners and decision makers and just see how the chamber can help them grow.
All right. So how can you help them grow?
One of the ways that the chamber can help your business grow is just simply by coming to our luncheons that we have monthly. It's great B2B networking. It's a great way to get your business more involved in the community. And when other business owners see you getting involved, they're more likely to bring their other business to you.
So you're trying to tell me that if I go to lunch and I have a really good lunch and a really good appetite, I'm going to actually be serving my business and help it grow.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sounds good to me. It's better than a slim fast diet, I'll tell you that. Anyway, what are some of the things that you do as far as telling businesses how you can be of assistance to them? I think we don't play enough on the radio the positives that you folks do on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce.
We help them with getting Google to recognize their business. We help them with getting more of a social media presence. This day and age, we're kind of going to a social media era, and we just kind of help people be able to be recognized that way that have never really had kind of a website or anything like that. We help them build that up. We offer classes here locally at the Chamber or at the CSI building for QuickBooks, Microsoft Word, social media, helping you design and create your website. A lot of people don't know that, but we offer a lot of classes like that even to community members.
Okay. Now, do you find that a lot of people in the audience, or even people that may call the Chamber, they're really kind of shocked and in awe of what you can do to help them?
Yeah, I find that a lot, and I also find that a lot of people that actually visit our Chamber of Commerce here in Heyburn, they didn't know that we have an actual visitor center here with a gift shop and all sorts of things inside of it that are kind of cool.
You know, the thing is, Burley is growing. The Mini-Cassia area is growing. The whole part of southern Idaho is growing. And I have never been a big fan of social media because I'm going to be very honest with you. I don't like that kind of thing, and I'm behind the times, if you will. However, that being said, today you have to be astute as to what's going on so you can really promote your business, and so I stand behind everything you said.
Good, thanks, Zeb.
What else is going on over there?
So we have the 25th annual Chamber Installation Banquet. That will be February 1st at the Burley Inn and Convention Center. We'll be giving away some great community awards there. Employee of the Year, Boss of the Year, Business of the Year, Distinguished Agricultural Leadership Awards, Community Volunteer of the Year. It's a great place to go, even to take your family. Tickets are $25 for Chamber members and $35 for non-members. There's a dinner. They have a fun photo booth. It's just a great time. Everyone should come out to the installation banquet.
Okay, now, once again, where and what time?
It's held at the Burley Inn and Convention Center, the Best Western in Burley. And the doors open at 6 p.m., and the dinner is served promptly at 7 p.m. Okay,
now, are tickets all in advance, or will there be availability at the door?
That just depends. It is first come, first serve. If you want tickets, you can always call the Chamber at 208-679-4793, or you can email Jackie at minicasiachamber.com for tickets in advance.
Okay, now, what else have you got on the plate for this morning?
For this morning, I am going to get ready for an ambassador meeting that's going on later today at Maury's Steakhouse.
What do you mean, ambassador? What does that mean, Shaylee, ambassadors meeting?
Ambassadors are from local businesses. They're kind of an arm of the Chamber. They help us carry out ribbon cuttings, and they help us service all the members in the area. They help us get around because we do have over 300 members. So they are volunteers that come out and just make sure that every business is happy with the Chamber and that they're getting the service and the attention that they individually need. And so we meet once a month at Maury's Steakhouse, and that's today at noon.
Okay, I got a question for you.
If anyone's looking to get involved more with their community, they can always contact us at the Chamber and ask about becoming an ambassador.
When you have those ribbon cutting ceremonies, I got to be honest with you, I've always wondered this. When you have those ribbon cutting ceremonies, does somebody stand in the background and maybe with a pocket knife cut the doggone thing, or do those great big oversized scissors, do they really work?
They actually really work. When I started here, I was like, oh, wow, they really work. I was just as surprised as you, but they actually do work.
Who's the person that's in charge of making sure that the scissors show up at the ribbon cutting?
That is actually my job. So I've got the scissors and the camera and the ribbon covered.
Okay.
I've just got to find someone to cut it.
All right. So you are the official, and this is really important that everybody comes up to you and pats you on the shoulder and says, wow, you're the official ribbon cutter person.
Exactly.
Okay.
That should be on my business card.
There you go. I'll expect to see a copy. What else have you got going on?
This weekend in our area, the Wilson Theater is having comedy night, and it's featuring comedians from Wise Guys Comedy Club. Also, the King Fine Arts Center in Burley is having the BYU Ballroom Swing and Sway, so you can get tickets for that. Tickets for the comedy show are $12 or 2 for $20, and that is at 7:30 p.m. And the BYU Ballroom is at 7:30 p.m. as well.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we have had the opportunity, and I feel so humbled this morning. I'm going to get her autograph one of these days. We have had the opportunity to talk to the official Mini-Cassia scissor carrier for the Chamber of Commerce, Shaylee. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on, Zeb.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Nice people over there at the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. Got to pay some bills. And speaking of Bill, I want to talk about Dr. Bill. Dr. Bill over at the Ark Animal Hospital. Holy cow, I'm telling you. If you got a puppy for Christmas or just recently got a puppy, now is the time to get a current pyro vaccine. Don't forget, this is really, really important to take care of those little puppies. And by golly, I want to remind you that February is teeth cleaning month for your dogs. Whoo! Some of their breath will knock you right over. It'll wilt the flowers. So don't forget, during February, 20% off. Make your appointments for your canines right now. Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street in Heyburn. Number to call, 678-1177. They do have the warm hearts for the cold noses. Also, real quick, I lost my pen. I told you it's Murphy's Law Day today. Everything I do goes bad. On Tuesdays, I want to remind everybody that thank you to Clay Handy and Handy Truck Lines. We have an outstanding half-hour segment at 9:30 on Tuesdays with the Idaho Legislative Update. And like I said, Handy Truck Lines over in Paul, they were established in 1928, and they are just so helpful with community events. Well, they're bringing you every Tuesday, whether it's Senator Kelly Anthon, whether it's Representative Fred Wood, or Speaker of the House Scott Bedke, the updates of what's going on up in Boise at the legislature. So thank you, Handy Truck Lines in Paul, for bringing you the Idaho Legislative Update. Right now, I'm going to go to the phone line. And I am really, really anxious to have this man on the air because he is going to save you money. Well, let's get him on. Jeff Bronson from Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. Come to the microphone and save us money on increasing the beauty of our home.
Well, good morning, Zeb. Thank you very much for having me on the radio with you. I appreciate you taking time to visit with me. Thank you.
You're very welcome. By the way, how's the kids doing in basketball this year?
Oh, well, let's see. I went and saw the Kimberly play Declo last night, and, there were two close games. The freshman game, Declo won on a last-second shot, and also the varsity won, and I think the Kimberly JV won. But there were three great games and great young men out there playing.
And that's really true because both those schools, Declo and Kimberly, excellent sports programs and a lot of great student athletes that are also very good in the classroom too.
Yeah, that's right. In fact, I graduated from Declo, and Kimberly was always one of our favorite rivalries. And so, being on the other side of that now, that's always a lot of fun to be able to see both sides. And anyway, great group of young men on both sides.
Absolutely. But now I want to get to the crux of what we're talking about. You are saving people money with an out with the old and in with the new, and saving folks a lot of money to beautify their home. Tell us about it.
Yeah, Zeb. In fact, this is interesting. you'll like to hear this because, see, a lot of folks, when they want to purchase carpet or floor covering for their home, they're not really sure how much they need, and they don't know how much it's going to cost, so it's difficult to make an informed decision. So let me just share this concept with you.
Okay.
And that is, in our special we have right now, you can carpet your living room, your hall, and 3 bedrooms. You can do carpet, pad, installation, and sales tax for only $69 a month, interest-free. Now, to quantify that, Zeb, this is very important for your listeners to understand. Many people don't realize that a typical job, which consists, again, of a living room, hall, and 3 bedrooms, is around 100 yards of carpet, sometimes less. So in our ad, that special actually goes up to 115 yards, or 1,035 square feet, just so that we will, in most cases, exceed most people's needs. So the $69 is for a standard builder-grade carpet. For only $89 a month, which is $20 more, you can upgrade to a better carpet. And for $10 more than that, for $99 a month, which is a premium-grade carpet, you can carpet those entire areas of your home, sometimes more, interest-free, again, for $99 a month. That's significant.
Wow. And I'll tell you what, it's not stopping there, because also you've got something else to tell us about some of the furniture, too.
Yeah, in fact, this is a great time of year for many folks to consider purchasing a new Sofa Love seat set or a new mattress. So how that works is we have over 60 Sofa Love sets where the customer can come in and purchase both pieces interest-free for $44 a month or less. In many cases, less than $30 a month.
Wow.
And that includes any that you were to special order as well. And with our mattresses, you can purchase a premium mattress box set, interest-free, for only $29 a month, or upgrade that all the way up to an ultimate comfort set, our premium mattress, for only $79 a month. It's a great opportunity, Zeb.
Jeff, it sounds to me that you've got a lot of good things going on over there, and you've got a great staff, too.
Yeah, we do. In fact, we have, our staff is just, they're so kind and so willing to serve. I'd invite anybody to come in and ask for them. I'm going to mention them by name. We have Darren, Hillary, Morgan, Emily, LeGrand, and myself, and any one of us are anxious to show you any of our floor covering, our furniture. We have a new selection of luxury vinyl planking. We have a special going on our window coverings. So much to talk about, Zeb. Too much to cover in just a short conversation, isn't it?
Well, I tell you what, Jeff, you've always been friendly to this program, and we really want to urge everybody to get down there and beautify your home and save money at Lee's Furniture, Floors and More at 459 Overland and Burley. Anything else before I let you go?
Zeb, I just look forward to seeing you during those next basketball games. So come on down and we'll sit together and cheer those boys on.
You got it, buddy. Hey, thank you so much for what you do at Lee's Furniture, Floors and More.
Thank you so much, Zeb.
All right.
Have a great day now.
Take care. Good guy right there, Jeff at Lee's Furniture, Floors and More. And man, those are some really great deals to beautify your home, I'm telling you. Oh, I got time for a call or two. Give me a jingle, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While I am waiting for your call on this officially designated Zeb's Murphy Law Day, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While I'm waiting, I want to remind you about Let's Ride. Hello, Nick and the crew over at 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. Let's Ride. Wow. You're really going to be impressed the first time you go in there and open the door to the showroom and just stop and look. Left, right, left, down the middle. Woo! How did they get all of those different vehicles in there? All the snow machines, all the four-wheelers, all the side-by-sides. My goodness. And they've got just the one you're looking for. So stop over today. And along with that, also they've got one of the largest accessory departments. They've got it all at Let's Ride. And a lot of people don't realize this. But behind every great business, a service department. And they've got the best doggone service department around to keep you running. Where am I talking about? Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, where the fun is sold. Absolutely. Mighty good people, and they've been with us for a long, long time. Don't forget, in just about 6 minutes, we're going to have Rita Ramsey on the program with us, and I always look forward to having her on the show. I do have time for a call, though. Give me a jingle, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While you're over in that Rupert area, you do not want to forget about our friends Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. I mean, we're talking the best of life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this and more for you, your family, your business. They want to make sure you're covered. They want to make sure you're protected. So please get a hold of them today. You just line up the time in the meeting, and they'll take care of everything else. 436-4424. 436-4424. And that's Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. A little public service note here, and we do a lot to help our senior citizens around the area, and I wanted to get some of these on here real quick. The Valentine's Dinner at the Minidoka County Senior Center is going to be February 10th. That's coming up in just a matter of weeks at 6 p.m. Tickets are $18 each. You get your choice of steak or salmon dinners, and there's only 75 advance tickets sold. No tickets sold at the door, so please call them at 436-9107. 436-9107. Give them a call. And another note that I had here real quick, I want to get this right here. January 30th through March 27th, there is going to be a cancer support group at Cassia Regional Hospital. Cancer support group held consecutive Tuesdays starting at January 30th until March 27th in the boardroom at Cassia Regional Hospital from 1 to 2 p.m. And they absolutely are going to be discussing topics in a safe, confidential environment, and it's free. The program is free for you to be in attendance. And as mentioned just a moment ago, I was also asked to mention again, on Thursday, February 1st, the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce will hold their 25th annual Chamber Installation Banquet at the Burley Best Western. The doors open at 6 p.m., dinner at 7, and tickets are now available at $25 each for chamber members, $35 for non-members. Be sure and get your tickets now. All right. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. We haven't checked in with old Wheels over there at the station the last couple of days. Wheels, how you doing anyway? We haven't had a chance to even stop. We've been so busy and say howdy. How you doing over there?
I'm good, and howdy. I'm just kind of relaxing over here. Riga's obviously calling in, but, I still look at I still look out my window here on the left, and I'm just thinking, it's going to be 51 degrees today. I think I might get out and vacuum my car.
I don't blame you. It's going to be a great day, but then water is coming. So let's take that call quickly, and then we'll see who's on the line. Thank you very much. They are calling for precip, but temperatures up there around 50 degrees. Oh, I wish the sun was shining. Let's see if this call is for us. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. It's me.
Well, I have never met anybody with the name of me. You're the first one.
You can always just say, well, hello, me. How are you?
How are you, Rita?
I'm good.
Okay, in a nutshell, and kind of all-encompassing, I would really like to hear your thoughts about politics in general. Myself, I will tell you up front, so maybe you can play off of this. I've had it. I've had enough. I don't have respect for any one of the people, partisan politics, Republican or Democrat. Enough is enough. Get to work. I'm sick and tired of your absolute destroying the fabric of what you're there for.
Well, actually, I would like to take a vacation from politics, but that's what worries me, is that too many people have taken vacations from politics, and that's why they're out of control.
I agree with that. But now, what were your thoughts? And I know you've got kind of a sly sense of humor sometimes, but really, wouldn't you, if you were Senator Jeff Flake, Wouldn't you be embarrassed to stand up at the podium on the Senate floor and deliver a speech to one person?
Obviously, he's got some mental issues. We've known that for a while now, about the last few years, but he definitely has some kind of a thing. All he wanted was a taping so that he could play it to people over and over again, and he was hoping that the press would be there taping it so that they could say, he said this and he said that. They would never say there's only one person listening.
Yeah, and by the way,
the time when those senators get in there, there's nobody listening. They're just in there ranting.
You know, and by the way, wouldn't you also give a kind of a mental exam to the guy that was there listening out of all those empty seats, and that was Democrat Dick Durbin?
Well, they're best buds, you know. They agree on everything, and that's let's take down Trump. And so for Senator Flake to be out of place, catering to him is not unusual at all. The part that's really sad about it is that he's becoming such an embarrassment to Arizonans, and McCain is the same, but it's just really sad. My family is in Arizona, and every once in a while when I talk to them, I go, so what's the deal? And they go, don't say another word or we know what you're going to ask.
I mentioned earlier, and it's the truth, I don't want anybody to think I'm just dropping names, but I do know members of the Flake family down in Arizona. And I got to be honest with you, I don't think they share in the stupidity that Jeff Flake does at the podium or representing politics from Arizona. The rest of the family I know isn't like that.
Well, I met one of his cousins while he was actually running for office, and he didn't really say too much about him, so I kind of gathered it was kind of like he's just not part of who we are. The thing of it is when he was running for office, we thought that he would be a constitutional conservative, and that was wrong.
But did you hear this woman that is running for that Senate seat? I am impressed, and I want to make note of this to everybody. I'm impressed with Marcia McSally. I like that woman.
I don't know her. I do know Dr. Kelly Ward, who's running for the U.S. Senate seat.
Uh-huh.
And she has totally said that he's an embarrassment, and she is she's been one of the legislators for quite a long time, and been really good in what she's done. But I think that most Arizonans, doesn't matter what their excuse me, doesn't matter what their place is, they're totally embarrassed of their two senators.
Well, and let's just face it, I never, ever will get on the radio and say anything in disdain for a person going through health problems in regards to their personality and their health problems, because I think that's as low class as you can get. But when they're involved in politics and involved in the leadership of this country and the ones that are making the yays and nays as to where policies go for the constituents and the United States in general, then I make condemnations about their politics. And I think it's way past time that John McCain stepped down.
Well, John McCain needs to stay at home and take care of his health and be with his family. The thing of it is, and I don't think that it's polite to make fun of their infirmities, but he is the one who keeps calling the press in for quotes that he's going to quote and things that he's going to say and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I just say he's just opening himself up for people to scrutinize him, and I mean, it is what it is, and it's really too bad, because what's going to happen is a lot of the things that McCain has done over the years, were they good, he has blanked out with just really, really weird behavior results in the Senate, and who he stood behind and who he's gone across the aisle with, and it's really sad, because I don't know how long he will be living, but these next few years, however long it is, if he keeps this up, he's going to be remembered as just somebody who was off the rails out in never land with what he's saying.
I agree. Now, let me ask you this, and I know that you follow politics and you study politics, but now bear with me on this. Is a government shutdown due to a lack of coming together on a budget and some of the other fringes that are connected to this, whether it's DACA or the CHIP program or whatever? Is a government shutdown really as negative as it's being portrayed?
No, it isn't. And Mark Levin, every Friday when he gets ready to close his radio show at 10 o'clock at night, says, okay, oh my gosh, the government shut down for the weekend. Will we ever live through it? The thing of it is, it doesn't matter whether they're shut down or not. They still take care of the things that are necessary, and some of the other things they don't. It's just a big scare tactic to make everybody think, oh my goodness, we're not going to get our Social Security checks. We're not going to be able to get this or that or the other. Everybody, the part that I don't like about the shutdown is people keep working or they quit working, and then they get paid for it. So
yeah.
They just as well not shut it down.
But, really, the politics in Washington today, with the partisan politics, the Republicans and the wishy-washy segment of the Republican Party, and then the Democrats with a hardcore, always protesting and resisting everything, I don't see anything as a silver lining, and honestly, I see nothing but resist, and I see possibly 3 years of absolute Democratic causing wastelands as far as trying to get anything done.
Well, it is, and the thing of it is that we need to encourage our Senate and Congress to go ahead, and if you need to shut it down, shut it down.
Yep.
But when you have a spending bill, it doesn't need to have 18 dozen things that are spending 10 times as much money hung on with it so that it can go through. We'll let it go through if you add this and this and this and this. Well, if you give amnesty to all of those who are here illegally, and if you do this, and if you make this law and everything else, and we'll go ahead and let the funding go forward. Well, somebody needs to put their foot down and say this is a bunch of baloney and we're not going to go on with it.
Rita, you kind of touched on amnesty, and I got to talk about immigration right now. Your thoughts when you saw that video on television of the illegal alien that had murdered 2 police officers, and in court when asked for a statement by the judge, he said the only thing he's sorry for is that he's going to be incarcerated and he didn't have the time or the opportunity to kill more police. And then he said if he was ever let go or he escaped from prison, he would do that. He would kill more policemen. An illegal alien. And this just solidifies my hatred for the lack of our borders.
Well, that's the real sad part about it is these guys aren't even afraid to say, you know what, I would do it again. Just dare me, let me loose. And they know that he'll be let loose. I don't know where he was at, if he's in a state where they have the death penalty, but if not, they definitely need to move him to a different state and put him in a state where there's a death penalty and let him be done with this horrible life that he's in.
I agree, but you look at all the other stories. I mean, I've got a multitude of them, all the way from Kate Steinle's death on that pier in San Francisco by an illegal alien. Illegal alien back in Connecticut running over and killing some people way off on the side of the road. He was drunk. He couldn't even be behind the wheel. Illegal alien at a restaurant gets up and goes stabs another diner in the neck. And then the left. The left will always say, oh, well, you can't just blame illegal aliens. Well, who in the heck committed the crime?
Well, guess what? Most of those illegal aliens have been deported numerous times.
That's right.
And if they had been going by the law, and the law was actually sending him back or putting him in jail and keeping him there, they wouldn't be in this predicament of what they've done to the society.
Absolutely.
The issue with that is that they don't care. They're doing whatever they want to. And I'm afraid that it's going to take some great big thing that's really noteworthy by the news media to happen before somebody will take note and say, maybe we ought to do a few things to see if we can't stop this from happening.
Absolutely. We have a caller with a question. Caller, please, you're on the air. Make it short and concise if you would, please.
Well, last night, Tucker Carlson had a alderman from Chicago on, and he said, now, isn't your responsibility to the citizens of Chicago first? Isn't that your priority? Or it seems as though you're more concerned about protecting the illegals. And he could never ask, he was Hispanic, and he could never answer the question. And there was no logic to it, not 1 ounce. And, I have Hispanic friends, and I love them. They're the hardest working people I know. But then there's Hispanics, just like any kind of race. But when the other day we had the father and son accused, convicted of some sort of terrible drug dealers, and then there's crimes that never used to occur in there by Hispanics. This may sound prejudiced, and I am saying it. This doesn't have anything to do with Zeb's program. I'm calling in. But you see, our society is degrading. And if we want to be able to send our children down the sidewalk to the store and not worry about it, we better do something. I'll hang up.
And I appreciate your remarks, and I stand behind what you said. Rita, respond to the caller, please.
No, he's right. And the thing of it is that you can talk to a lot of Hispanic people, and they are totally opposed to illegal immigration. They are law-abiding people, many of them. I know there are a lot of them out there that aren't here legal, and they're, working and hoping that they can stay and everything. But the law is the law, and we need to go by the law. We can't be a lawless society. And until we start enforcing our laws, we are going to be ruined. Our culture is going to be ruined. Our borders have already been plundered, and it's just like we don't even have borders anymore. But we have to have laws in order for a society to exist.
Well, when you look at it with the law, there are those in various industries that would say, oh, come on, with a wink and a nod. Oh, well, gee, we need the workers, so maybe you could overlook this with a wink and a nod. However, maybe at noon today, Rita Ramsey might go up and run through a stoplight, and she's going to get a ticket, and they're not going to give you that wink and a nod. The laws are the laws for a reason, Rita, and they should all be observed.
Well, they should, and that's the thing. If we would just enforce the laws that we have, there would be a lot of self-deporting. There would be a lot of businesses that are saying, okay, we need workers, and we will do it the right way. I still say and maintain that there are many people who have workers here, and they have done it the right direction. They've gone through all the paperwork, and mind you, it is a ton of red tape for them to get somebody here legally. And they have to provide, living quarters that are probably better than you and I can afford to live in for them, and take good care of them so that they're not being abused. It's those ones that come in here illegally and hide and everything else that they're actually slaves. And that's really what's sad, is because we have to have a slave people.
Yeah.
For the Democrats and for a lot of people to stay in business, and it's just wrong.
I'm going to ask you about North and South Korea in just a moment. I've got to get a weather forecast on here real quick, so stand by. Rita Ramsey with us this morning. Don't forget Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company, providing accounting services to the Mini-Cassia area well over 50 years, with the best of tax return preparation, tax planning, payroll services, retirement planning, helping you possibly to expand your business, hire more employees. I mean, these people really, really know. Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company, with offices in Burley and Rupert. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Looks like we could be heading into precipitation for tonight and tomorrow. Here is your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. Enjoy today because we're looking at mostly sunny skies. High near 51. Winds out of the east, right around 10 miles an hour. Tonight, more clouds rolling in, bringing along with it some showers, rain showers for tonight, a little bit on the breezy side. Those rain showers mostly after midnight with a low of 34. Tomorrow, we have a 60% chance of rain and or snow showers. Snow showers mostly up in the higher elevations. with a high of 40 degrees. For tomorrow night, we do have a 20% chance of rain and or snow showers with a low of 25. For Saturday, mostly sunny skies and 36. And then for Sunday, mostly sunny and 37. And that is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina, and brought to you this hour by my friends and your friends at Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. The best of accounting services, and I mean to tell you, they really, really care, and they do such a really in-depth job of making sure that everything is just right for you, your family, and your business. Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company, with offices in Burley and Rupert. Rita, maybe I'm crying wolf here, and I want you to kind of jab at me if I am, but I'm a little bit concerned about all of a sudden, after all these years of animus and hatred, that all of a sudden North Korea and South Korea, under a flag of unification, may walk in at the opening ceremonies as one nation at the Winter Olympics. I don't know about this. What are your thoughts?
Well, if I was in South Korea, I'd say, you know what, I think we just want to stay on our own. If they want to do their own thing and get admitted in, fine, but we're two different countries and we have two different sets of values and beliefs, and we're not one. We can participate against each other and that type of thing, but don't categorize us in the same country.
My fear is not just the Olympics. My fear is a unification, a behind the scenes of, hey, we'll do this for you, you do this for us, and then the absorbing of what they're doing into and with China. I don't know, maybe I'm negative. I'm looking at it the wrong way. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think there's that possibility. I guess the main thing is if South Korea remains sovereign, then they can do whatever they want to do. If their economies are so bad that they have to band together with somebody else to help them along, which would be China, and China's really not that good of an economic situation. They're all fake like ours is. Why would you want to even do that if maybe somebody's got a gun to their head or whatever? But to band together with North Korea is just absolutely off the rails.
I think so, too. Okay, now I get a chance to ask you about three of your favorite people. I know that you get a great big smile on your face and you feel warm and fuzzy when we talk about them. Representative Maxine Waters, Frederica Wilson, and John Lewis. Don't they just make you feel great?
Actually, they make me want to puke.
Well, could you be a little bit more blunt?
No, that's about all I can say, really. They are just so... I can't understand why their constituents would elect them. The people that vote for them have to be total idiots. Just going in there and marking a ballot, which tells you something that they're either being paid to do it or they have no clue whatsoever.
You know, Maxine Waters and her rants of impeach 45, and how she hates President Trump and everything else, and the disdain that she has for this administration. I guess it's okay to say that you don't like the president or his policies like we had to bear up against with Obama. But for her to say that she's absolutely not going to go to the State of the Union, she has no respect for the man, doesn't want to listen to him, John Lewis the same way, and then goofy Frederica Wilson out of Florida, all they do, in my opinion, is denigrate their constituents, because you can't tell me that in their respective districts that they're all Democrats. There's many probably Republicans or conservatives that really don't have any representation, and with them not showing up at the State of the Union, they're just showing how absolutely unprofessional they are.
No, that's exactly right. The thing of it is, all of them need to be at the State of the Union, and if they all want to sit together because they're of one group, then okay, that's fine. But for them to say, I'm not going to go because da-da-da-da, I was curious. Were there any Republicans that didn't show up at the State of the Union because Barack Obama was the president? I don't remember that there were any groups that were scream and impeach Obama just because we don't like him. There were lots of us that were saying, you know what, we want to have the Constitution led, and the Constitution is the number one law of the land. We want it enforced. We want to go by the Constitution, and there are things that are happening that aren't constitutional. But I don't remember that there were any groups. If there were, they weren't very loud, screaming, we want Barack Obama impeached, just get him out of there.
Yeah.
That never happened. There were some about the birth certificate, and I still kind of think that was all a big false thing. I still kind of think that he didn't really have a good one, but I'm not one of those people that's like, okay, I just can't go forward here.
But looking at the mess, and we're kind of going back to where we started here on the program, but looking at the mess in politics today, honestly, the only way I think that this is going to be cleaned up, and it's not going to happen for maybe a 10-year period, you've got to go to term limits, or you're going to keep these same old crusts of bread in power.
Well, that's exactly right. We've got to have a turnover, and there's got to be some new people that come in and do stuff. The big problem is that you see what happens to good people when they run is their things are made up about them. There's all kinds of this and that and the other. He did this or she did that or whatever, and it's kind of like, you know what? I don't need to destroy my life. I mean, there's nothing about any of those things that are said when they start running, and so it is just a good old boys club, and it's whoever complies with what we say goes, and so they have to vote that way, and there's just so much corruption that it has got to change, and we won't get anything different unless we have lots of changes, because the people who are in there now, the majority, and that's not everybody, I don't mean everybody, but the majority who are in there are all just people who have been bought off by money and power and everything else, and they're not interested in doing the people's business. And I'd like to know just exactly what kind of a way to solve doing it is, and I think that the only way is to have term limits, and you'll never get the Senate or the Congress to vote on it.
Yeah.
So how does that happen? And I know there's a few people out there that will call up and go, we can't do anything with the Constitution, and da 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 da. But you know what? We're going to have term limits, and the states are going to have to mandate them in order for some changes.
I agree.
That's all there is to it.
I agree. Real quick, short answer on this. I've only got a minute and a half left. President Trump's fake news awards. I thought it was great tongue-in-cheek. I think it was just nothing more than just a jab at the media. And Paul Krugman of the New York Times won the #1 spot with his idiotic saying that when Trump took office, our economy would collapse and never come back, and the stock market would hit lows. This morning, the Dow's over 26,000, and our economy is booming. What do you think about fake news?
Well, I think that it was good that somebody actually brought that out and made that accusation, because it's true. They manufacture news. They don't report it. They only report what they want, and they put their spin on it because it's about them. It's not about the news. And finally, somebody had enough integrity and strength to get up and say, these guys are just a bunch of liars.
I agree. I agree. Rita, it sounds like you got a little cold. I hope you're doing better next week. I've just got something in my throat. I don't know what it is, but thank you. Okay, God bless you. Rita Ramsey, thank you. I really enjoy having her on the program. Thank you very much. Let's take a look. This is one of my absolute favorite segments on this radio program. It's If You're Hungry, I know some places you can go if you're starving to death, because they can really help you with great, great food. How about the AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley? Oh, my. Eggnog shakes. I love eggnog shakes. And then how about teaming it up with a chicken fried steak sandwich and some fries, or maybe a famous Farmer Brown burger and some fries. Oh, delicious. That's the key word, delicious, at the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Well, let's move on over to Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. The breakfast burritos. Let me tell you something, folks. Breakfast burritos at Taco Bandito will knock your boots off delicious. Scrambled eggs, bacon and sausage, cheese, onions, tomatoes, sauce on a tortilla shell. Good morning. That is the way to start the day. Taco Bandito and all the great food choices on the menu at 2301 Overland in Burley. Well, let's move over to Burgers, etc. Two, not one, two great places to go. 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 Overland in Burley. Listen to this. They are still serving delicious soups, different soup every day of the week, and the mushroom burger combo, that is absolutely phenomenal. Only $5.99 after 3 p.m. And every Sunday at the Burley location, shrimp dinner, just $5.99. Wonderful people. Great food, burgers, etc. Locations in Rupert and Burley. Well, how about Steve-O's? Food made the way you love it. At 290 South, 600 West of Heyburn. Steve-O's, oh my. I've been telling you about that taco, that great big chaos salad. I had a guy call me the other day and say he went in and had it. It is phenomenal. Chicken breast with bacon, pickles, jalapeno peppers, and lettuce and tomatoes and cucumbers. Everything delicious. You're going to love that chaos salad. And the buffalo burgers, oh my, delicious. Great people, really friendly staff at Steve-O's with wonderful food at 290 South, 600 West of Heyburn. And those are just a few great places to go if you're hungry and starving to death. Okay, coming up next hour, next half hour, Cassia County School Days. Alex Reddy's going to be on the program with us. Our business salute goes out to Roger and the crew at K&R Rental. He'll be on the line, so we're going to send it back over to Wheels right now. To take us up to news, we'll be back in about 7. Oh, my. Good morning. Hour number 3, Zeb at the Ranch, and of course we're brought to you by our major sponsor. Hello, your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations with all the traction tires for the best of wintertime driving, and all 7 locations serving you. Your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers, and also some of our great advertisers, like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Oh, my goodness sakes, we got a lot of things going on this half hour. In just a very few moments, we're going to get ready for Cassia County School Days. And I might also mention to you that next week on Monday at, wait a minute, I got to check my phone here. Yep. Wheels is already on top of it. Next week on Monday at 10:30, we had a lot of people. If you'll think back in your memory tank about maybe 2 months ago, we had an outstanding lady on our program. She was the executive director of Wind Action, and she is against wind and solar energy. Her name is Lisa Linowis, and we finally got a hold of her again, and she's going to be on our program. A lot of you people called and said, wow, is she ever sharp? We'd like to have her on the show. So I said, absolutely. We got it done next Monday at 10:30. Very, very informed lady. Right now, we're going to get ready for Cassia County School Days, and it's brought to you by our 2 wonderful sponsors, and I'm going to talk about them just for a moment, and they are A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley, and they've got all the clothing. You really don't know what they've got there until you walk in the big doors, and holy cow, all the dresses and the coats and the clothing, the warm winter clothing, and all the games and the toys and the puzzles and the baby furniture. The list goes on and on. And I urge you, stop down to a family store that really cares. A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley. And also Ambulatory Surgery Center for your outpatient surgeries like life-saving colonoscopies and arthroscopic knee surgery. The outpatient surgeries, and they can save you money. I urge you to call them today and find out more. 677-8888. That number again, 677-8888. They're located at 1344 Highland Street, or Highland Avenue in Burley, and get a hold of them today. Ambulatory Surgery Center and A Child's World, bringing you school days in Cassia County. And right now on the telephone with us is a lady that's the Raft River Elementary third grade teacher. She's been on our program before. Alex Reddy, are you ready?
I was born that way.
Atta girl, I like that. Okay, well now what's going on at Raft River? How's everybody out there?
You know, I think a lot of the kids are sick right now, so we're all trying to fight that off and prevent it spreading. But we're doing really well. We're getting really far with academics. We're making a lot of progress. So,
you know, what makes the people out there? I really have a lot of friends that live out in that area, and boy, there's a lot of community pride out there in that Raft River and Malda area, isn't there?
Mm-hmm. There is.
Okay, that's the end of that subject. Thank you very much. Well, tell us a little bit about what's happening with a two-day slogan called Collaboration Days. What in the heck is that?
Well, what we do is when we're teachers, I mean, for me, I'm the one and only third grade teacher at Raft River. So when we have these collaboration days, I get to go to Burley and I get to meet with all the other third grade teachers from our entire district. And we get to talk about the different kinds of things our students need as a third grade team. And every single grade level team does this. And we get to talk about how we can do better for our students, what kind of things we should add. And it's a good chance to get to talk to each other and figure out what our needs are among our district.
Okay, so by going together on what's called Collaboration Days, and by the way, how often do you do this?
We do it about 4 times a year.
Okay.
So we don't get to do it all the time.
So 4 times during the school year, and basically, what do you find that maybe you have or don't have at Raft River that some people might want or could share with you?
Well, I love that we can talk about, there's been a lot of talk about using technology since our district is, we're now able to do a lot more with technology since a lot of our, there's a lot more availability of Chromebooks and things like that. So we've spent a lot of time discussing how we can incorporate that in our classrooms. And for me, I was able to steal some ideas of some free websites to use for my kids to give them practice on math and language arts and things like that. And that was really, really helpful. And I use those in my classroom all the time.
Well,
so it was great. So I can give my kids extra practice on what they need, and I can individualize it, but I wouldn't have known about it had I not gotten to have those collaborations.
Okay, so you get together, and I'm sure that you probably are all supplied huge steak dinners and sit back after the meal and say, hey, do you have this? No, but I've got that. Hey, have you heard about this? No, but I can tell you about this program. Is that basically what goes on?
I usually set an agenda. And we figure out, I email my whole team and say, what do we want to talk about? What is a need that we need to address? And then we'll all bring ideas to the table. So, for instance, we've just started standards-based report cards. So we spent a lot of time saying, okay, how are the assessments working that we came up with over the summer? What do we need to change? How can we make this better for our kids? What have you noticed? Just so we can make it better.
Okay, but now you said team. Explain, all of a sudden, I thought it was just you, but you said team. Explain the team atmosphere.
The third grade team. So there's 22 of us. There's 22 third grade teachers in the entire district, 22. And we all get together on those collaboration days and talk through things that we can do better for our students.
Okay, now, what have you learned personally that maybe some other school had or did that, boy, you go, I have got to implement that?
The first thing was the computer programs. That was one of the most important things. But then I've also gotten some amazing tips on how to use our current curriculum and how to, if I had a classroom procedure problem, how to make those better. And I can bring those and talk and say, I'm having trouble with this. What can I do better? And I have so many people that are willing to come and help each other.
Man, now, is this something that is done in other school districts as far as you know, Alex, or not?
I think so, but I am not sure.
Okay.
I haven't worked with any other district for a super long time except CASA. So.
Now, do budgets on big schools, little schools, does that play a lot in whether you can adopt some of these policies or not?
That depends. I find that most schools we all are trying to find more things for as little money as possible just because they want to make that dollar count a little bit further. So we look for a lot of free things that we can find or resources that we can share and things like that. I haven't seen a huge thing with budgets.
Okay. Now, what about the kids? I mean, the implementation of a new innovative idea. You stand up there in front of the class and you just learned about something that you'd like to apply to your kids. What are they doing? Rolling their eyes in the back of their head and going, oh, not this again.
Usually, my kids are really, really good about trying different things. And I tell them, okay, guys, we're going to try something different, and it may fail. I may crash and burn. There may be flames everywhere. But as Ms. Frizzle says, we take chances and we make mistakes and they get messy. So we're going to try this, and it may be terrible. Or it may be great, but we work with me. And as soon as I tell them it's something new that I haven't done before and I'm taking a risk at trying something, they're completely on board saying, yeah, we'll try it. We may crash and burn too, and that's okay.
Well, now give us an example, if you would, of what you mean about innovative new thoughts that might all of a sudden hit the ground at 200 miles an hour.
Well, the first time I love doing small group instruction. And the first time I ever did math centers, I said, okay, we're going to try this. And when we did it, the kids were confused as to what center they had to go to where, what my behavior policies were. And it did not go smoothly. I'm going to be really honest. Last year when I did it for the first time, it did not go as smoothly as it could have. So I took that and I said, okay, what did we learn from yesterday's math centers? How did they go? And the kids said, it didn't go very well. And I said, you're right. What can we do? And we came up with ideas together on how to make it better.
Hey, that is great. Now, what about the technocracy and the technology? I'm almost changing my mind on ever advancements in technology because I think sometimes we've taken the personality and the human element out of a lot of things. As a teacher, teaching third grade, are we getting these kids so self-involved in the technology today that they're really not having a chance to develop their own personality?
In the classroom, I'm not seeing that at all. But I also encourage my kids we talk to each other, we share our ideas, they do the work, and then they share it with the peer, and then they share it with the class. So they're always speaking, they're always listening, they're always collaborating that way. I think technology can play a really, really important component if it's used correctly. I don't let the computer do my teaching of a lesson for me, but I do use technology as a component to enhance my kids' education. So, for instance, if I have a kid that's really academically advanced, I can have them do a computer program when one of their centers, they're only on it for 15 minutes, that's going to challenge them and make them do that higher order thinking that a regular third grade curriculum necessarily wouldn't, or that a regular third grade standard necessarily wouldn't. And it's their chance to kind of excel. If I have a kid that's struggling, I can put them onto a program for that 15-minute center that will help them fill in the holes or get that understanding again so they can practice that skill again.
In general, though, Alex, and I don't mean to put you on the spot on this, but in general, are we really creating a society of kids that are only looking at a smartphone or a computer and really not realizing what a handshake and a look in the eye and a personality can do? How do we balance the two?
You know, I'm not exactly sure because it's a hard line for me even. I'll say, okay, I have my phone out, but I'm like, wait, if I'm talking with somebody, I make a conscious effort to put that in my pocket. But you have to make that effort because it's just there all the time, and that's what you're used to. So I think it all depends on what kind of person you want to do to communicate. Do you want to be one of those people that's on their phone, or do you want to have that meaningful communication among others? And I think a lot of that has to do with modeling in regular social interactions. Before they get a chance to have that phone, how do you like to be talked to? Do you like to have someone distracted, or do you like to have someone looking in the eye?
Mm-hmm.
How do you like to have people pay attention to you? Do you like them looking all around the room, or do you like them looking at you? And I try to talk to my kids a lot about that, to say, how would you like to be talked to? And then they start doing that with their peers.
Absolutely. What about you as a teacher? I mean, with these collaboration days, and you have a element in your voice that shows that you are really excited and really ready to go into that classroom and share new information. Have you learned a lot through these collaboration days?
I have learned a ton, and I have stolen so many ideas from the great teachers in our district. It's crazy. One of my favorite phrases is, like, we're going to steal each other's ideas. We're not going to reinvent them together. So we can say, hey, I'm going to add this. I'm going to change it up in a different way. And other teachers have done the same for me. We share our ideas and say, well, here's something that you can do. And I say, oh, I like that, but I might tweak it this way or something else. We get to It's great. I honestly love driving into Burley because I know I'm going to get to talk with my team of really caring teachers. They're going to help make me a better teacher.
How often, I said this once before, but I was a little bit vague, how often do you have these, and are they on school days or are they on weekends? Or give us kind of a background of when you go to these meetings.
They're on the 4 Mondays that we get out. Usually we get out at 2 o'clock on Monday. On the 4 Mondays that we get out at 12:30, those are the days that we have those collaboration days.
Okay, and so they're...
And then we do have 1 to 2 of them over the summer, depending on what kind of meetings and stuff.
Okay.
And I email my team, and I talk to my team a lot because they're amazing. Over the summer, me and a couple other ladies from the 3rd grade, we went together and started working on standards-based report card and made an assessments binder and did all that stuff. So we talk a lot over the summer, too.
Well, now, Alex, I would imagine that by getting out early on a Monday, is there anything of concern or awareness parents need to have as far as their kids are going to be getting home early?
Yeah, we at Raft River end up sending home notes. We put it in our monthly newsletter. Teachers put it in their weekly newsletter if they have one. We'll send out an email reminder, and we try to let them know early as we can. So right now in our office, we have the next posted day already.
Okay.
It's up there so people know when it's going to happen. So if they swing by the school, it's there so they can see it as well.
One final thought here, and I'm getting the gist of what you're saying, that maybe teachers really have a loose rein, if you will, to try new innovative things and finalize a lot of things that are going to enhance the education of the kids. You're really not tied to a strict curriculum, are you?
Oh, yes, we are. For math, we have to follow our math curriculum, but we can change things in the way we teach. So we still follow the curriculum, but I can add, when I add a center, I have a game center that adds to it. And it's either the curriculum we have adds that I can use for game center, or I can supplement if I would like to. For the computer portion, I can use the curriculum, or I can add another component that the school has provided.
Okay.
We can't just do whatever we want, but we can add things to help increase our instruction, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense, and I'll tell you what, I've learned a lot by talking to you. I just wish that when I was in school, we had great, innovative thinkers like you as a teacher. It sounds like you're really involved in this. Any final thoughts on collaboration days?
I love them, and I would like to have them all the time if I could. I love getting to talk to my fellow 3rd grade team. They are truly amazing teachers.
Well, I want to tell you how much you've excited me, and I'm not even going to school anymore, but I'll tell you what, Alex Reddy, I thank you, 3rd grade teacher at Raft River Elementary. Thank you for being a part of the program. You've been on in the past. Come back again in the future, if you would, please.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you.
You too.
You know, when I listen to people like her, and you folks in the audience, you've got to concur with us. You listen to somebody like her, you could just see and hear and feel the enthusiasm in her voice to teach and to be better and to create more of a learning atmosphere. And then, you know, we've talked about this a lot of times in the past. I am so sickened by those negative people in our state that just absolutely denigrate and downplay the value of Idaho education. You listen to a teacher like her, and that's got to change some minds. God bless her. Alex Reddy at Raft River Elementary, 3rd grade. Thank you very much. Holy Holy cow, we've got to get right on the phone right now again and have our business salute for today. And before we do that, I want to say thank you again to A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley and Ambulatory Surgery Center 1344 Highland in Burley for sponsoring school days in Cassia County. Now to the next person, and I have not had a chance to talk to this man. What's the matter, Wheels?
I'm just making sure, the secretary's making sure to see that he's in the building today and that he's not off.
Find him quickly. Okay? No, he's gone. All right, we're waiting to see if we can catch Roger over at K&R Rental for our business salute this week. And I urge you, if you have something to add to it, you can give us a call quickly at 436-2244, 1-866. Yes, sir, Wheels.
I have Roger on the phone for you.
Very good. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, every morning after our Pledge of Allegiance, we go right to our weather forecast. And the company that sponsors our early hour weather is K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn, right there on the Burley-Paul Highway. Roger, the head man, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Zeb. How's it going?
Well, I tell you what, not too bad for an old fat man, but I'll tell you what, tell us a little bit about K&R Rental and Sales. You've got just about everything over there. Your front yard really is indicative of all the equipment that you've got. Man alive, tell us about it.
We've been here since 1979, so we've had a lot of growth with the community, and we have a lot of equipment that is used. We have a bunch of equipment. Everything from homeowners equipment to backhoes for construction, forklifts, ground heaters for thawing ground out.
Wow.
For concrete in the wintertime. We got a wide selection.
You know, Roger, if somebody comes into you, and I've said this on the ad that I do for your folks, and they've got some kind of a construction project or they got some kind of a project going on, and they go, you know what, I got this to do, but I darn sure don't know what I need for equipment. Can you help them that way?
Yes, we can. That's usually the best way, especially if they're not sure of what they want, because that way we can figure out what they're doing so we can get them into the right piece of equipment. And that way they don't have to spend more than they need to and maybe have to do the job twice.
Okay. And then you've kind of gone with the age of technocracy and technology to where if the people need something, they can fill out the online estimate and it'll take care of all the paperwork right up front, wouldn't it?
Well, most of it has to be scanned into the computer here.
Uh-huh.
So usually it's easier just to call in and we can put you down for it. And then we can give them a quote on it and an estimate of, depending on how long they're going to need it.
Okay.
And find out where they need it for, whether they're going to pick it up or whether they want it delivered.
And, you know, the other thing I want to talk to you about is, I know I was talking to Deanne the other day, and she said, man, oh man, you've got all the heaters. Now, I think people are being duped into thinking that winter might be over and that we're going to start mowing the lawn tomorrow, and that's not the case. I think there's going to be a lot of winter left. What about all the heaters? You mentioned about those ground heaters, and I think that's really something to talk about a little bit. Go ahead.
Yeah, those are basically a hydraulic ground heater. They heat water, and then you string your hoses out. The ground heaters usually hold somewhere between 3 to 4,500 foot of hose.
Wow.
So you string it out on the ground you're going to thaw out for concrete, and you cover it up with insulated blankets and fire the unit up, and it'll usually pull out about a foot of frost a day.
Wow. It sounds to me like you better call every of the North Central football teams, like the Packers and the Bears and the Vikings, and you ought to go back and thaw out some of their stadiums right now.
Yeah. They are really handy.
I'll tell you what, you've got it all over there, and I like your attitude. I like the way you serve people. But, you know, tell everybody exactly where you're at and the hours that you're open.
Okay, we are on the Burley-Paul Highway. We are 1 mile from the top of exit 208 heading towards Paul. And we are on the east side of the road.
Okay. And the hours that you're open?
We're here from 7 in the morning till 5:30 at night, Monday through Friday. And on Saturdays, we're here from 7 to 2 for winter hours.
Well, I want to tell you, Roger, how much not only do we appreciate you sponsoring our weather right at 8:06, but also the great job that you do. And by the way, you've got a great radio voice, and we thank you for what you've done on the Burley Paul Highway, K&R Rental, Roger and the crew. Thank you for being a part of our program this morning, and come back again.
Thank you, Zeb.
You bet. God bless.
The customers and the community.
All right, sir. Thank you very, very much. Nice man right there, Roger and the crew at K&R Rental, right on the Burley Paul Highway. The number to call, 678-3122. Really good folks. Wow. We're going to get into a subject this next half hour that is going to be very, very solemn and serious, because it is a problem that very unfortunately is growing in the state of Idaho and across America, and that's suicide. And we have with us a lady that is absolute. I consider it a blessing to have her on our program. She is the program manager of suicide prevention programs, and her name is Kim Kane, and we're going to have her on for the next half hour and answer a lot of questions. We are not going to be taking phone calls during that half hour, so please don't call in and say, well, this, that, and the other. We're not going to be accepting phone calls, and we hope that we can help people. We hope that we can provide a lot of information, including the hotline number, etc. So be tuned in about 3 minutes for that program segment on suicide. Right now, we're going to send it back over to our main studios. We'll be back in 3 minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Thank you very much, and welcome back into our final segment for not only today, but for this week. And I'm very honored and pleased to have this lady on our program this morning. She is the program manager of suicide prevention, and this is Kim Kane. Kim, good morning to you, and thank you for coming on my program.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Kim, give us a little explanation, if you would, please, up front as to what you do and what you're trying to do here in the state of Idaho, please.
Sure. As you mentioned, I'm the program manager for the Suicide Prevention Program, and that's at the Department of Health and Welfare. It's a fairly new program. In the 2016 legislature, the legislature that year allocated the first ever state funding for suicide prevention efforts in the state. I've been doing this work for almost 14 years in the state, but this is the first time that it's really been done at the state agency level. And the good news is it's the first chance for us to really engage in activities that are comprehensive, statewide, and sustainable, which is truly what's needed to reduce suicide rates.
Okay, I guess my question, and not understanding or knowing as much about this subject as I should, Idaho. I did read and make some notes up on this morning. I understand, and it really was shocking to me, that the risk of suicide is a lot higher here in our state of Idaho than others. As a matter of fact, I understand it is in 8th place in the nation. I guess my obvious question would be, why?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Idaho, you're correct, usually ranks in the top 10 states in terms of number of completed suicides per capita. And that's true year after year, but we're there with our neighbors. So Mountain West states have the highest rates of suicide continually over and over and over again. And there are really three things that lead to that. And here it's important to understand that we're talking very big picture, so broadly. So broadly, some of the things that the Mountain West shares are, a lack of mental health resources. And it's not just about any old mental health resources. The mental health resources need to be effective for suicidality management. They need to be geographically accessible, and they need to be affordable. So it's mental health services, but it's also the culture of rugged individualism that we have in the western states. And that culture is not a bad thing. but it just doesn't lend itself to help seeking very well. It's very much pull yourself up by the bootstraps. And the truth is, most people really do reach out when they need help. There's also a very strong gun culture here, and guns are the most lethal means of suicide. So there's a pretty well-established correlation between the states with the highest suicide rates and the states with the highest percentage of gun-owning households. So those three things come together to make sort of a bad recipe for Western states in terms of suicide.
Let me ask you a question about what you stated just a moment ago, a lack of mental health resources. Why? I mean, this sounds to me like this program or the problem itself needs to be addressed or should have been addressed with more money a long time ago. What have we done lately to really create more money for the resources of mental health?
Well, I'm not a mental health expert, but a lot of ground has been made just in the last few years, mostly in terms of making sure that the mental health resources that we do have are effective. Because even if people do have access, if the mental health provider doesn't understand suicidality and how to properly treat and manage someone who's suicidal, it may not matter as much. So we've taken a lot of steps to bring in quality training. In fact, we bring in the trainer who literally wrote the book on suicide assessment management in to train our mental health providers. And in terms of funding, I think there's been a slight increase in funding, and then there are also individual hospital systems who are increasing their both number of providers and their focus on integrating behavioral health with physical health.
Okay.
So we still have a long way to go.
You know, Kim, when I listen to this problem and I sit back and I think about it, all the way back to my high school years, etc., is there a certain age bracket, if you will, that is more susceptible towards committing suicide?
Well, we see our highest rates of suicide among our middle-aged to elderly male population in Idaho, by far. As an example, Idaho has a suicide rate in 2016 of 20.8 deaths per 100,000 population. That was our rate.
Oh, my.
And our middle-aged to senior males have rates 2, 3, and 4 times higher than that, depending on which age group you look at. And our highest rates are among Idaho males over the age of 80.
Now, you mentioned males, and I'm getting a picture in my mind that the problem seems to be directed more towards the male gender. Is that correct?
Yeah. Until just this last year, I was always able to say that men die by suicide 4 to 1 to women.
Oh, my.
That's changed just a little bit in 2016. It's now 3.4 to 1. But it's still far more males than females. And that's because males just tend to use more lethal means.
I guess I'd have to go back and ask you this, and I go back to a very simplistic question of why are males so much more complicit to doing the suicidal means? Is there reasons? Is it because maybe heading up the family or a lack of income or losing jobs? I mean, explain that a little bit to me.
Well, truly the difference between male and female has to do with the means used, because females attempt suicide 3 to 1 to males.
Oh.
So it really has to do with means, the difference, the disparity between the two genders. But there's no one thing that leads to a suicide. There's no one thing to point to. Suicide is complex, both as a societal issue and then also on the individual level. It's very complex. But some of the things that you mentioned can be tipping points for people. If people lose a job or lose a relationship or go through some type of crisis or trauma. But again, it doesn't mean that event caused the suicide, because a lot of people lose their job and they don't all die by suicide. But for someone who's already highly suicidal, we need to be on the lookout for tipping points, and we need to be on the lookout always for warning signs. So people need to pay attention if someone is talking about suicide, if they're talking about loss of sleep, particularly if people are isolating themselves or withdrawing from activities. Those are high warning signs, as well as nightmares. So if people see these signs, they need to be brave enough to ask someone if they're considering suicide and then get them to help. And I just want to mention that one of the main ways to get help is to call the Idaho Suicide Prevention Hotline, which they can do at 208-398-HELP. So that's 208-398-4357. They can also text that number if they prefer to text between the hours of 3 and midnight, Monday through Friday, or they can get online at the hotline's website at idahosuicideprevention.org, and they can use the chat feature. So there's 3 ways to access the hotline.
You know, Kim, you said something again a few moments ago, and I want to say this. While I was in college, we had a young man that lived in our fraternity house that gave a lot of signs, a lot of verbal cues, and I'm very, very embarrassed and humbled to say that none of us really followed up on those. And in most cases, am I wrong or right, that the person with suicidal tendencies, they're actually giving other people clues and asking for help without really saying so?
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that, and I thank you for sharing that story. And it's important to understand, too, that, you know, looking back in past and people we've lost, it's important to understand for anybody who maybe missed signs that we don't know what we don't know. So, you know, teaching people about warning signs and then what to do about it when they see them is really important. And you're right about that. In fact, most suicide prevention experts agree that there are warning signs about 100% of the time. Now, that doesn't mean that some people don't try to hide them, but most people don't. And we know that 70% of the time, and I'm talking about 70% of people we lose, their warning signs were actual verbal statements made to people. And sometimes they're really direct, that they'll mention suicide, but sometimes they're less direct, like, you won't have to worry about me much longer, or no one would care if I were gone, those kind of statements. So you're absolutely right.
You know, what about families? I mean, when you're sitting there at the kitchen table, and God help us, we need to get back to the kitchen table, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and really communicate with each other. But what about moms and dads talking to John and Susie, their kids in school? What kind of warning signs that parents maybe overlook? I mean, certainly there's got to be more that people can be aware of.
Sure. And I've mentioned some of the warning signs, but I would just encourage parents to be involved. And it's interesting that you mentioned the dinner table, because there's actually research on this that families that eat together, it reduces all kinds of risky behaviors in their young people, not just suicide. And a lot of people are aware of that research, but what I didn't know till a few years ago is that there's actually a threshold for that, and it's 4 nights a week. If you can just manage to sit at the dinner table together 4 nights a week, it can reduce all kinds of risky behaviors in young people. They've got to just talk to their kids and try to know always about what they're involved in. And, of course, I'd always try to make sure you know what kind of social media your kids are involved in and what's going on there. Social media is kind of a double-edged sword. There are things about social media that can be protective for kids because it makes them feel like they belong. But there are a lot of things associated with social media that are troublesome as well. So just knowing what your kids are up to, striving to have meals together, and striving to have communication with them, as well as looking for warning signs. And there are lots of lists of warning signs. They're accessible on the hotline's web page, that idahosuicideprevention.org. You can find out how to help and a list of warning signs on our own website, which is SPP, like Suicide Prevention Program, .dhw, like Department of Health and Welfare, .idaho.gov.
I want to, at this time, if I may, Kim, jump in and give that hotline number again and reiterate the fact that this is I'm assuming, statewide number. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. And it will link you right to the Idaho Center for Idaho Resources.
All right. That number is 208-398-4357. I want to go back a moment, if I can, and unfortunately in our society, a lot of times the parents get up early in the morning, they're leaving for work, and they say, "Hi, Johnny, see you tonight," and then the kids are gone to school all day long, and then mom and dad might roll in at 6 o'clock, have a supper quickly, and then go to bed. But the school really is the formation of these kids and their character and personality during the daytimes. What about school counselors? What about school teachers and the entire school personnel? Are they really coped and trained with what can happen and how they should relate to it?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, school personnel are the professionals who spend more time with our kids than any other professionals. And they have their hands full. So expecting them all to be mental health counselors, we certainly can't do that. But there are a lot of things that schools can do. And there are great guidelines for schools for suicide prevention, intervention, and postvention in the event that there is a death on the website for the Suicide Prevention Action Network. So that acronym is SPAN, S-P-A-N, and SPAN Idaho has tons of resources for schools. Also, I've been involved with, for a number of years, the Idaho Lives Project, which seeks to bring upstream prevention to schools with a program called Sources of Strength, which people can find out about at idaholives.org. In fact, the application period for schools to apply for Sources of Strength is online now at idaholives.org. And the importance of that program is, if we want our kids to stop being at risk, one of the things we need to do is stop telling them how at risk they are. We need to go upstream and talk to kids about resilience, what their strengths are, that there is hope and there is help. Because the truth is, recovery from suicidality is the norm. Over 95% of people who attempt suicide never go on to die by suicide. A death to suicide is statistically rare. Now, I know that when a death happens, the ripple effects that has on families, the impact on schools and communities, it doesn't make it feel rare because of the ripple effect. But it is statistically rare. So we need to be sharing more and more with our kids that there are healthy ways to deal with trauma and to deal with emotional crisis and difficulties and stress. And that most people recover and get help.
Yeah. I can think back like high school and college, and so many kids leave a high school environment. Now, here I am. I'm not the expert here, so please criticize me for anything I may say wrong. But so many kids leave a small town, rural environment high school and are thrown into a major college or university environment, and they feel like a little drip of water in a great big lake, and they feel isolated and alone. And I think that right there is a problem for a lot of real kids that have never been to the bright lights in big city, and they just feel like nobody cares about them.
Yeah, and you're not wrong about that. And a lot of kids actually go through that. In fact, we lose more college-age kids to suicide than we do school-age kids. But the key here is that when kids go through the stress of adjusting to college life or whatever life change they're going through, that they have learned the skills to have healthy coping mechanisms to cope with feeling alone or to cope with feeling overwhelmed. Whatever the pressure or stress is, we need to give them the tools early on, and that's part of what that Sources of Strength program does. It's for middle schools and high schools and college. That's part of what it does, is helps young people to understand what their strengths are and what healthy coping mechanisms are for when they're going through exactly the type of thing that you describe. So there's always a way through that, but young people can't always see that way unless they are able to recognize that there are things they can do to cope and to get help.
Kim, I found something this morning, and I certainly hope you don't mind if I read this to you, but everybody that is on God's earth, as far as I'm concerned, they have optimism to use the talents that God gave them, and they don't have to feel negative or alone. And I found this little bitty saying, and I'd just like to read it and get your response. God has great things in store for you this year. I am thankful for what you will accomplish and for the way He has used and will continue to use your life as a blessing to me and others.
Oh, I think that's very nice. I think that reminds me of this important part. Young people, simply because they haven't lived as long, don't fully have a handle on the fact that tomorrow won't be like today.
That's right.
That the stressors and hassles of today won't look the same next week or next month. So, yes, looking at what's coming forward and that life has ups and downs, and that even if it's down right now, there will be ups. They just don't have enough life experience to have practice at that. And so anything we can do to remind them that there are things to come, that tomorrow doesn't look like today. There will be up times and down times, and if you just get through the down times, you can go on to live the life that you're supposed to live.
You know, and it really, and to me, I don't want to make humor out of this situation whatsoever, but, you know, the Daddy Warbucks and Annie in the stage play, the sun will come up tomorrow. There's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah, very true.
You know, Kim, I want to reiterate again the hotline number, so I'm going to turn it over to you and let you do that number and any other information necessary before we wrap up here this morning.
Okay. The hotline number again is 208-398-HELP, and that's 398-4357, or go to IdahoSuicidePrevention.org. That's the hotline's website, and use the chat feature, or you can call from there as well. And I would just leave everyone with the message that there is always hope, and there is always help, and there are always people who do care. Young people need to know that they have trusted adults in their life to reach out to.
Amen.
And that they need to do that if they are in crisis, or if they have a friend who's in crisis. Part of being a positive friend to someone is getting them to a trusted adult if they're in emotional crisis of any type. So I want people to understand that really recovery from suicidality is what the norm is, and everybody can find hope and help.
Wow, you are really inspirational this morning, Kim Kane. I appreciate it. I would like to have you come back on the program in the future. You did a wonderful job, and thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day. Thank you very much. Kim Kane, Program Manager of Suicide Prevention Programs with the Health and Welfare. Thank you very, very much. Very important program, and just kind of simplify it. Watch out and take care and help your fellow man. We got to get a weather forecast on here really, really fast. Scarrows Meats over in Jerome. Don Scarrow and the crew. Hello! 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657. Or you can go to their website, scarrowsmeats.com. Delicious meats, whether it's the breakfast sausages or the bratwurst, my favorite, or all the way up to the marinated prime ribs and the smoked hams. Absolutely phenomenal. Delicious. Scarrow's Meats in Jerome. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Looks like we could be heading into precipitation for tonight and tomorrow. Here is your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. Enjoy today because we're looking at mostly sunny skies. High near 51. Winds out of the east, right around 10 miles an hour. Tonight, more clouds rolling in, bringing along with it some showers, rain showers for tonight. A little bit on the breezy side. Those rain showers mostly after midnight with a low of 34. Tomorrow, we have a 60% chance of rain and or snow showers. Snow showers mostly up in the higher elevations with a high of 40 degrees. For tomorrow night, we do have a 20% chance of rain and or snow showers with a low of 25. For Saturday, mostly sunny skies and 36. And then for Sunday, mostly sunny and 37. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Oh, Gina, thank you. Great job. Scarrow's Meats, the sponsor of our weather. And I just drool. I'm hungry this time of the morning, and I urge you to get a hold of them. They're at 331 North Road, Jerome, or you can give them a call, 324-7657. Scarrow's Meats in Jerome, and they are changing the way we eat one delicious bite at a time. I want to say thank you to our major sponsor, and that's your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Absolutely, they do the job for you. Always great service. Doing the right thing matters. And like I said, don't be lulled. No, we're not going to start mowing the lawn tomorrow. I wish we could, but winter's not done. We're going to have snow, ice, muck, yuck, all of that, and you need the traction tires. They've got all the traction tires for you and your vehicles vehicles, and not you and your vehicles, but for your vehicles. Kind of funny to see old Zeb with a couple of snow tires on his butt. Anyway, here we go. Don't forget to stop into any 7 locations, and they can help you with all the traction tires you need. And, of course, they've got all the tire chains. They've got the best in-brake service, front-end alignment, shocks and struts, and batteries. Yep. They do the right thing because it does matter. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, Twin Falls, Daniel on Poline, the Twist family and Paul, Randy on Overland and Burley, all of them serving you at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. That's it. We're done for the week, and God bless each and every one of you and all of our guests. Wonderful, wonderful week. Thank you so much. Next week, we have got some big home run hitters coming on the program from all over the United States, so it's going to be a jam-up week next week. I urge you to enjoy your weekend. I urge you to drive safely, and remember, the way things were are the way things ought to be. See you Monday at 8:06.